Yeah.
Well, I am so excited to introduce you, Brains, to somebody that is near and dear to my heart. Over here, this is my mentor, okay? This is Cyrus Webb, and I really don't reveal who my mentors are. I keep that close to my vest. But he's the one that turned me on to podcasting. He's the one that invited me to co-host with him on one of his shows. And I tell you, that bug bit me in the butt, and here I am 11 and a half years later. Cyrus Webb is an amazing man. He is created this conglomerate, a media mogul, absolutely, under the Cyrus Webb Conversation Media Group. Now, up under that umbrella, he's got book clubs, he's got syndicated radio shows. He's now working with OWN, that's Oprah stuff. He is a top reviewer for Amazon, and the list goes on and on. The repertoire of guests that he has had on his show is absolutely unbelievable. And I'm so glad that he's here back with me for like the fourth time. So we're just going to roughhouse it. I'm going to ask him a bunch of great questions. He'll tell me what he want to tell me and don't tell y'all what he don't want y'all to know. So thank you so much for being here with me and my brains. Welcome to The Edge, Cyrus Webb.
April, thank you so much for having me back. And let me just say to everybody, I have never done Zoom before in my life. And when April asked me and she told me Zoom, she will tell you, I paused and I was like, But for April, I was willing to learn, and so here I am. So glad to be here.
Thank you. And when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. You were there for me, and now I am here for you. So Cyrus, introduce yourself to my brains. For the ones that don't know you, they better get ready because you are just the man here, a self-made media mogul. Tell us all about you.
Well, thank you so much, April. Again, congratulations to you on the platform that you're building here, April. I'm so excited for you, so proud of you, the way that you've been using audio and video to be able to share your message. As you mentioned, it's been my privilege to be the president of Conversations Media Group now for 16 years. And under Conversations Media Group, or CMG, we have our radio show, which is my oldest child, that turned 16 this past summer, Conversations Live, the radio show. We have my magazine, Conversations Magazine, that is now 13 years old. And just this past November, our book club celebrated its 13th birthday as well. So I'm really excited about that. I'm also the host of a TV show and web series called Cyrus Webb Presents, as well as here in Mississippi where I live, I'm the host of a Mississippi-based radio and TV show called Mississippi Success. So it's been an amazing journey for me. We just celebrated our 9,000th guest of my radio career, and I'm so excited to see what's to come.
Wow. Well, some of those guests I want to tap into. You have been able to interview not once, more than once, Matthew Knowles, Beyonce's daddy. Y'all know Beyonce daddy, okay? Well, he has been there with, what was that like? I mean, I'm sure that he's real cool people, but, you know, were you a little unsettled knowing the magnitude and the scope of who he is and how dynamic he is?
April, I'm nervous and unsettled being here with you right now. I'm just nervous and unsettled with everybody. but you're right. I mean, it was a big deal to have him first on the radio show by phone, but then to be invited to fly to Houston to sit down with him in person and to interview him for our TV show. That was, it was a big deal. I mean, he is exactly what people say about me. They say, you're exactly like you seem online. He's exactly how he seemed when I interviewed him on the radio show. Very kind, very giving of his time. He gave me a tour of Music World Entertainment there. They just celebrated a very big anniversary last year. And to see the magnitude, honestly, April, I didn't know all he had done under Music World. We automatically think about Destiny's Child, right? Right. But I didn't know that he's the one who gives the winners for Sunday Best. So he has the gospel division. He has a country music division. He has a rock division. I mean, to see the awards on the walls there and to see all that work and to know that it all began with this one man, it was humbling.
And, he didn't even start it. He was wasn't he in the tech industry?
He was, yeah. I think with IBM, is where he started out. So, yeah, I mean, just because of wanting to, give his kids, the foundation that they needed, for their success in the entertainment industry, yeah, he was willing to go all in, and it's definitely paid off for him.
Well, I mean, it's great. It's great. And then also you had another big fish. You had a Stedman Grant.
Yeah, this was a big year. 2019 was a really big year for our interviews. We stepped it up a bit before the year wraps up. I'm getting ready. I don't know if you know this. April getting ready to interview Jane Fonda to talk about not only her acting career but also her activism. So I'm excited about that. As I'm
getting arrested because she put them handcuffs on with pride.
Yeah, almost every Friday for the past few weeks. But the fact, yeah, Stedman was an interesting one. I went into the interview. Because they gave me very little guidelines because they were familiar enough with the show. They knew what I wasn't going to ask.
Right.
So I didn't have a whole lot of guidelines they gave me other than he's a real stickler for time. So they gave me 15 minutes. I think I went 13 and a half minutes because I wanted to be very careful and to be respectful of his time. He's a busy guy. But very nice guy, but very passionate about leadership, which is what his new book's about. Very passionate about being able to tell people the importance of being an effective leader, but also giving them the tools to do that. So yeah, that was a really exciting one for me.
Yeah, I know he's been here to San Diego, and I've never had an opportunity to be in the room, but definitely I will. So now you're working with OWN. I remember back in the day when I first met you, you're not going to even remember this. This is so funny. You were running a campaign.
I remember.
You were running a campaign.
10 years ago, April. It was 2009. 10 years ago. Yeah.
And, you was running this campaign. You had folks lined up down there in Mississippi on the street.
At voting parties.
Right, because you were trying to get a segment or
right.
What was it about? A segment with Oprah.
Well, right. So she was when she first started the channel in 2008. She was having a reality. She was going to have a show to own your own show on the Oprah Winfrey Network. So the first round was about you had to get a certain amount of votes to be able to be in the consideration. I didn't make the top 100 of that. Unfortunately, I didn't make the top 20, and then that was then whittled down from there. But there is some consolation in that neither one of the two winners ended up having their shows renewed.
And you came out to be a winner because now you're working with Oprah's network.
Yeah, and let me tell you, I did not see that coming. I did not see that coming. But but just like you, April, it's all about doing the work, right? I mean, I was hurt that I didn't get it, because who wouldn't want to work, with Oprah and that kind of thing.
Right.
But I just kept doing my thing, and things came back around. And so now here I am being able to provide content for the digital side of, because they're really pushing now the digital content because everyone's going to YouTube. They're going, to the app to be able to do things rather than turning on the channel, right? So to be able to be involved in that is exciting. Also, for them to help me in interviewing their talent from my platform, that has been an amazing blessing as well.
Right, and the learning opportunity. I mean, you are the movers and the shakers and innovators. In addition to that, you are covering the BET Awards, and didn't you do some work with the Grammys as well?
Yeah, this is I want to put an asterisk there. Okay, so for now, going on 3 years, this upcoming year will be my third year covering Grammy events. In fact, you went with me my very first year in 2016 when we met for the very first time. Remember?
Did I be the roadie? I was like,
yeah. I mean,
coffee. What can I do? I was so happy.
You were amazing. And the very first time I met April, she picked me up at the airport, and we went to a party hosted by MC Light. How cool is that, right?
Yeah, it was great.
And so April, that was so exciting. But no, I'm not. I said the asterisk because I'm covering Grammy Week. I've been invited to 5 events leading up to the Grammys. I don't have an invitation at this time to actually attend the Grammys, which is cool because the events give me so much great content. I'm able to meet so many great people. So I'm excited about that.
And you're able to float around the room and, really kind of network and hear some great conversations. But when you're there in the Grammys, you're stuck in that chair, for God knows how long. So you also do a lot of interviews with television personalities. I'm lucky enough that I just snagged a great interview with Maria Howell. She
Oh yeah.
been on the Have and Have Not. She was in the
Yeah.
Purple, and I'm like,
Saints and
wow,
Sinners. I mean, oh, she's amazing.
she's an amazing singer. So I'm going to
Yeah.
be interviewing her in a few days. What is
Awesome.
it like, and how do you reach out to people to get these wonderful interviews? I mean, I know that you're in the sphere now, so for the most part, people are, coming to you and say, "Hey, would you like this interview?" But before that, how did you really reach out to get the great interviews and the great people that you've had on your show?
April, I'm glad you asked it that way because you're exactly right. In the beginning, I was doing the asking, right? And even today, quite honestly, I get a lot of requests, people now coming to me, like you said, but there are people that I'm naturally interested in myself. So I still reach out myself. Now, I try to follow protocol, right? So the first thing I do is I stalk them. I go to their Facebook, their Twitter, their Instagram, and look under the About section and see if there's an email address, right, or a publicist, and I Google the publicist and find their email address. So that's the first thing I do. Before I slide in their DM or something that says, "Hey, I want to talk to you," I say, "Hey, can I get your PR information?" And some of them will say, "Hey, what is it about? I can do it myself," and then that solves that problem. But I am fortunate these days. And let me tell you the funny story. The Stedman Graham interview, his people reached out to me. I didn't reach out to them. And the reason they reached out to me, though, was not necessarily because of the radio show. It's because of my ranking with Amazon, and they wanted me to read and review the book. And the interview was an extra bonus. Hey, if you do this for us, we also will give you 15 minutes with Mr. Graham. So that's been great, to be able to navigate. And that has happened more often than not. That's how I'm going to make some news with you. I have not announced this yet.
Do it.
That's how I got my interview with Cicely Tyson for 2020. Her autobiography is coming out next year. Her publicist reached out to me to do a review and offered me 10 minutes with her on a phone interview. So that's really how it happens. But a lot of times, even today, like I said, if I find someone that I want to talk to and their people aren't reaching out to me, I'll reach out to them.
And that's what I do too. I step out on faith.
Yeah.
And if I'm deserving and if I'm worthy, a lot of times people really want to give you a break. They want to be the ones that, hey, Cyrus is a really great guy. Let me go ahead. I'm an influencer. Let me go ahead and interview with him. Talking about influencing. Both you and I are brand ambassadors. You represent a lot of brands. I represent a lot of brands. And we was talking about that with one of my other guests. That's a lot of responsibility because you are representing them. They want you to carry yourself a certain way. They want you to, say certain buzzwords or not buzzwords. They want you to wear their clothing or use their products.
Right.
How did you become a brand ambassador?
By accident. I'm going to keep it all the way real. I didn't even know there was a thing. I honestly did not know. So, and you don't know what you don't know, right? So, like a lot of things in my life, I was just, in my ignorance, just doing stuff. It all started with Amazon, just writing reviews for stuff. I'd buy something online, I'd write a review. Buy something, write a review. And then next thing I know, I started getting these emails from companies saying, "Hey, I saw you bought this. I'd like to send you this and see what you think." Wow. That's really how it started. So, I see you have this event coming up. I'd like to dress you for this event, and all we ask is you tag us in your pictures or mention us in a post. So, and that's honestly, April, that's how it started. I didn't know, I didn't set out to do it. It really just evolved. And so, and I tell people, just like today, I've turned down stuff today people have offered me because it has to align with me. I'm very nerdy, I'm very quirky. I'm not the most it person when it comes to clothing and all. So names don't necessarily, as you know, don't matter to me, but it has to fit my aesthetic, has to fit my style. Right. And if it does, I'm willing to give it a try.
Well, I love that turquoise sweater that you had on. It just really made you pop. So I love that.
Thank you. Well, that was an Amazon essential, so I had to have to put that out. They have done, and I have to say, they get me. And this is not a plug in any way. They asked for this, but it's just the truth. It's good, and you know this. It's good to work with people who know you, who've gotten to know you, and they know what to send. They figure what kind of shoes you might like, what kind of pants fits your style. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not a big jewelry person, and so to have a ring, or I may wear a necklace every now and then. But that has definitely helped me. But it's also helped me to try different things too, like that color that you're talking about. I never would have probably picked that for myself, but I got a lot of compliments on that. So
Really
yeah,
nice.
so I don't always know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what I don't know, right?
And I've been a brand ambassador for alcohol portfolios, and I
Right.
stumbled upon it too.
Yeah.
Somebody said, "Oh, will you do a demonstration for this?" Next thing
Yeah.
I got wine companies calling me.
Yeah.
You know,
You did a thing, April, with Diddy, right? It seemed like I remember.
Diddy's people was loving me because see, I can sell. Okay, I can
Yeah.
sell ice to an Eskimo, and I was moving 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cases within the course of a weekend.
Yeah. I remember that.
Now I wanted to be their brand ambassador, but maybe I was just a little bit more mature than what they needed. But
I get it.
as far as being represented on the military side, but I've worked
Gotcha.
for Martha Stewart, and I've done Casio, and just some really, really great brands. And I've had a lot of opportunity to get some great perks too, because
Mhm.
that's really good. But you have to be
Right.
in alignment. And again, I'm a social drinker. I don't drink a lot, but I always would tell, the people that would come and stop at my station to drink responsibly, because that's
Yeah.
what we want. You do want
Right.
them to be in alignment with what you're doing. So the book club. Now you are an author, a published author of what? You've got 3 books, 4 books.
I have. That's a good question. So I've co-written or written 12 at this point.
Wow.
I have. See, you probably didn't know that.
Well, no,
but
but you were ghostwriting for some people too, right?
well, yeah. And yeah, I don't count those though. I just count the one that my name does appear on the cover with them. And so I have that I've written for myself. I do have Words I Choose to Live By that did very well. My new book that I'm so proud of that has done extraordinarily well, Power Your Life with the Positive. Really excited about that one. And then I have one children's book that I wrote strictly on my own called Aubrey's World. But then I've co-written other autobiographies as well as children's books as well. But that is so in alignment with me, because growing up, if anyone asked me what I want to be an author and an artist. And I'm just so fortunate and blessed. I grew up to be able to, other things too, but I'm able to be an artist and an author, so it's exciting to be able to have had an idea for something and then to be able to see it come to life.
Book clubs, you
Yeah.
don't hear about them anymore. And I tell authors all the time,
Yeah.
start a book club, and the first book they read, Brains, is yours.
Yeah.
Really, so you
Right.
get exposure, you get feedback,
Yeah.
you're able to learn new words, get into the characters, character development. You may become a writer yourself, an author. So when you started writing, who were some of your biggest influences?
Oh boy, I was a dark kid growing up. This might surprise some people. Because I'd had a lot of things I was dealing with, and no, the childhood. Family life was good. I didn't have any issues there. Had a lot of internal struggles for myself. So I dealt with depression, feelings of worthlessness. I didn't see myself as a good person in the sense of being able to achieve things that people said I could achieve. I just didn't see it in myself. So self-esteem was an issue for me. So I liked getaways. So ironically, authors like Sidney Sheldon, still, of course, rest in peace to Sidney now, but still one of the authors, I still go back and read those books. I'm a big Sidney Sheldon fan, was a big Jackie Collins fan. Ironically, got a chance to meet her the year she died. A big fan of B.C. Andrews. I've had an opportunity to interview the ghostwriter for those books. So those were kind of the books that I read. I did read Stephen King too. Dean Koontz. Like I said, I was a dark guy, so I liked that kind of thing. But yeah, those were the books that I read, and I was like, whoa, I would like to be able to do this. I would like to be able to go into a bookstore and see my book, or go into a library and someone check my book out. So yeah, those were some of the authors that I really liked. I didn't have a lot of black authors that I read growing up. And people ask me about that sometimes. Who were some of your favorite black authors? because I didn't think about it in that way, if that makes sense.
Right.
I didn't think about
Wanted a good
looking
read.
for. I wasn't a Richard Wright fan. Wasn't a Langston Hughes fan. I mean, those books did not, because I couldn't relate to a lot of it. You know what I mean? So I grew
That's
up in a
odd
different.
because you're a poet as well. You're a
Yeah,
spoken
exactly right.
poet.
Now, oh, speaking of Edgar Allan Poe, oh my goodness!
I know.
I told you I was dark. I was really dark. I got lighter after the suicide attempt, but I was dark. I was into the dark stuff when I was growing up.
Wow. Speaking of reading, okay,
Yeah.
I'm still mesmerized. How have you read almost 300 books already this year?
Yeah. Well, part of that is because I'm very, and you know this because you've seen my
Let me
to-do
ask you
list,
this.
April.
Are you reading like one or two at a time? My neighbor next door, she reads like two
I
books
can't
at a
do
time.
that. I can't
I
do
can't
it.
do it either.
Yeah, I get
That's why I've
confused.
only read
But
20.
yeah, but let me tell you what I'm able to do, April, and I think you can relate to this. So this is what I do. I literally schedule 1 hour per day. It's actually on my to-do list. I schedule 1 hour that I'm not on social media. I'm not on the phone. I literally take that 1 hour to read. Now, here's the asterisk to that number that you mentioned. I've actually read now over 300 this year, but I've read a lot of children's books this year too, because we've been pushing our young people edition of the book club. So those books are like 32 pages, 60 pages. You know, they're not big books. So and now some of the books I've read, yeah, some of the adult books over 300 pages, yes. But honestly, even some of the adult books have been less than 200 pages. And those, I mean, with my travel and everything, I can easily in 1 week read 10 books.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. And you go into the schools and you
Yeah.
encourage children to read. You sit there,
Yes.
and we're going to have a segment, Brains. Get ready for it. I'm going to do that for my little brains. I'm going to read them some holiday books so that you can sit there
Oh,
with
nice.
the device and you can go and cook or do whatever it is you're doing, and I'm going to entertain them for a while. But you do that, and that's very near and dear to your heart. You go into
Yes.
the schools, you get backpacks for them, you raise money for them.
Yeah.
You're really an advocate for childhood literacy. And
Yeah.
down there in the Mississippi Gulf Coast, what's going on in the schools there? Are people really pushing that as much as you are?
No, that's an honest answer, which is why I take it so personal. I remember growing up, and I'll be 45 next year, and I remember us having authors coming into the
Right.
school, and we don't have that as much here anymore. So I definitely, when I'm in town, I take out the time. I buy out the time. Sometimes I spend a whole day just at a school visiting different classes, or they'll do an assembly and I'm able to meet. But I like I like the personal, because I want them to know that I'm just like them, right? I come from where they come from, and unfortunately, because we still have the highest rate of illiteracy in the nation. We're on the top of all the wrong lists in a lot of ways: obesity, high blood pressure, teen pregnancy. I'd like to give them something else to do. so
Eating sex, right?
yeah, so I go everywhere from kindergarten to high school, and I choose schools.
In the high schools, I thought that's great. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I do high schools too. In fact, let me tell you a project. I'm sharing more news with you here. Starting in January, a school here in Mississippi, a high school, and our partner, we are starting a book club together in the school. And I have authors that are actually donating the books for the students so we can be able to read together. We'll be able to interact with them. We're not using Zoom, but we are going to be able to interact with them on Instagram, because I want to bring people into the experience that are outside the school to see what these students are doing. So I'm really excited about that. And we also, we're starting an art club at this particular high school as well. So I'm excited about that. So I get to take two of my interests, both books and art, and bring them together in the school that I'm adopting.
That's a great segue. You are a visual artist.
Yeah.
When did you start drawing? I mean, you do some amazing work. I've seen
Thank you.
do some replicas of Michael Jackson and Prince, and just really capture the essence of who they are. When did you start doing art?
Drawing is always, it's kind of been my saving grace. I think, writing and drawing kind of came together for me. Because I've always been creative. Always like to express, and I wasn't always good doing it the way we're doing it now. I wasn't good at talking to people. So writing and drawing, that was kind of my outlet. So it's good that I've been able to keep that and to find other ways to be able to share it.
Well, you do an incredible job, but also making money. Okay, I want you to get some tips. You said, don't be asking me about my money.
Money? What's that?
We talk about that offline and banter back and forth. But so many people are in this podcast space.
Yeah.
Okay? And I have to keep it real with you. They think that it's fun, and it is fun. But this is business. To market people, to promote them, to do your research on them, to keep them at the forefront of what's going on, to know who the movers and shakers are. I think that really people, if you have a certain amount of shows or you have a certain amount of followers, that you should really consider monetizing your show. Yeah. And having multiple revenue streams. You know, you and I both have, you can't just do one thing, but you've got to have receipts. You've got to have an audience. You've got to have a clear message. And you have to know how to make the pitch and close on the deal. Now, you have one great marketing program that I see you promote a lot that I think is really fabulous, and that's the swag bags. That's an opportunity for new authors or people that have a product or a service to get inside of your swag bag that you give to the people that you interview. Can you tell my brains a little bit about that?
Yeah, and you know what? This idea came, I was talking to my station manager for the radio station I have, Conversations Radio Network, Earl Hall. We were talking one day last year because I had an interesting experience happen in Los Angeles. I had been gifted some books by an author that I was interviewing. I had the books on the table, and one of the people I was interviewing that day was Renee Lawless from the hit show on the Oprah Winfrey Network, The Haves and the Have-Nots, the Tyler Perry show. She saw the book and she was drawn to it, and she's like, I'd like to have this. Can I have one of these? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I said, hey, would you mind, I said it'd be fun. Well, let me take a picture of you with it and I'll send it to the author. April, as soon as I took that picture, I said, this is a service. Okay. And I said to Earl, Earl, I have an idea. I don't know how many people will do it. This is what I said at the time. I don't know how many people will do it, but I think I'm going to offer you to be able to send in your product to me. I put it in a bag and give it to these celebrities that I'm interviewing. And it took off. So it's been amazing.
It has been amazing. And I mean, they get great stuff. And just because they're celebrities, that doesn't mean that they don't like to receive gifts. But it's a perfect opportunity for you to get the exposure and have your book in the hands of maybe someone that is going to write a screenplay or someone who's doing a commercial. This is a great way for you to really market yourself and get out there. And then the Amazon reviews. You are Amazon's top review?
Yeah, I'm in the top 500. I'm currently, at the time we're having this conversation, the new numbers, I'm number 305 out of the top 10,000 in the country.
And you love numbers. I love numbers too.
Yeah. So it's an insane thing to even think about. That I'm literally number 305 out of the top 10,000. That's crazy. But that has been. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I want to ask you how this works because again. Yes, Brains, I'm going to expose it, and that's what happens here on the edge. Now, you go in, and people say, oh, I'm an Amazon #1 bestseller, and your book is an ebook. You ain't printed nothing, okay? It's all about an algorithm, and I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad about that. If you can position yourself and do that, that's fine. But take it from a person that has sold over 12,000 copies of their book out the trunk of their car. The hustle is real over here on the edge. I know what that means. Okay. Right. So when you go in and you give them an honest review, how does that affect them on their book? And how do people get reviews? Because I know once upon a time you were taking, a lot of requests, and now you're very selective about who you review.
Yeah, because you said the key. Now, I'm different in this. I give honest reviews. And my rule of thumb used to be, April, that if I didn't like it, I didn't review it. because it's enough negativity out there. No, I'm all about the love and positivity. And now, if someone asked me, what did you think about it? I would tell them, but I wouldn't necessarily write it. But I want to tell you why, though, because it's my opinion. Someone else may come and love it, right? I mean, it just wasn't for me. Whatever the characters, whatever, it wasn't my thing. But then it got to be, Amazon said to me when they started, sending more things my way. No, we want you to, if we're sending something to you, we want, whether you like it or not, we want to know. Mm-hmm. And so that was difficult, because to be able, I recently gave a 3-star review, which I used to 4 years ago would never have done that. Right. But the product did not live up to the hype. It just didn't. And so I told exactly what my experience was. And this wasn't a book, though, but I have given books 3 stars. I've never, as far as I know, I've never given lower than 3, because you can do 1 to 5. So I've never given lower than 3, as far as I can remember, since I've been doing this. But yeah, I will say to people, you know what, maybe this isn't my thing, so maybe I'm not the right person for you, or if it's something I couldn't even finish, I'm definitely going to say I couldn't get into it. So that's really been the key.
And a 3 is very fair. It's very fair. That gives a person an opportunity to grow and develop. I mean,
right.
The first time that you write a book, that doesn't mean that it's, you're going to be a J.K. Rowling. Right.
Now, and let me tell you, since you bring up an interesting thing. Some people have gone through, had their work re-edited and resubmitted it to me, and you can go in and change your rating later. Mm-hmm. So there's that thing too. But yeah, it's you have to be careful. But you asked about the helping. I'm glad you asked that, because now Amazon is looking at 3 different things when it comes to reviews. One, the amount of reviews you're able to get. They want the activity, just like on social media. They want the activity to show that there's some interest in your particular book, primarily because, depending on the category, Amazon will give you free promotion. It'll give you a spot in their recommended section. So if someone is looking at another type of book in your category and your book is getting some traction, Amazon will put it in the recommended selection to say, if you like this, you'll like this one too.
Right.
So that's the first thing. So they definitely want the reviews. Second thing is that a lot of authors are failing on, April, is they're not sharing the reviews, because that again helps to spread the word about what's been said. So they should be putting links to the reviews on their Twitter, on their Facebook, on their LinkedIn, with a copy of their book, because when people go to read the review, they can also buy the book, right?
Right.
And the third thing that they're not doing the helpful vote. That is so important, because again, it shows interest. So if someone has written a review, the author should be going in there and saying, is this review helpful? Click the yes, right. Because that again is going to show activity. Right. And none of those things cost anything, right? I mean, those are all free things.
I have went in to write a reviews, and Amazon has rejected it. So they are looking for a certain criteria when you write a review.
Yeah, well, Amazon got a lot of backlash, and I have to be honest with you. I had probably 200 reviews purged from Amazon, probably a couple years ago, probably 2017, I think it was. They were getting a lot of scrutiny because there are people who were paying for reviews. Now, I don't do that. You can't pay me to review your book. That's not a service that I offer, but there are people who do offer that service, and that's their thing. You can pay me to promote your book, but you can't pay me to write a 5-star review for it. And that's what people got in trouble for. They were saying, write a 5-star review for this,
Well, on that, and they don't want you cross promoting. So
yeah.
I think I put on there that this was a great guest that was on the edge with April Mahoney, and they said,
oh yeah. They want you just to stick to the content. That's their thing. And I have to say, they're putting some fail safes in there. It used to be the reviews would go up instantly. Now it could be 3-4 days, because they literally are vetting the reviews to make sure that it kind of fits into that criteria.
And that's very, very valuable, because you know that it's authentic and it's real. So if you are positioning to be a #1 international best-selling something, and you ain't really cutting the mustard, then it's going to be exposed. So just really do your best.
Yeah.
Don't be discouraged. Be encouraged. But
be encouraged, right?
Get people to review your book and to do that. It costs you nothing. It's like a like or a share on social media. It's like pulling teeth to get somebody to subscribe to your I don't know what it is. If you're digging what's going on, then go ahead and subscribe.
Right. I'm with you. I'm with you.
It's really, really important. Well, Cyrus, again, you know, I love you from the bottom of my socks, baby, because my heart just isn't deep enough. Okay.
Well, April, let me say this before I go. I have such love and respect for you and what you have built. You know, a lot of people are just learning about you as a media personality, but I got to know you first as an author and poet. And your enthusiasm for what you do, both, you know, with the written word, with the spoken word, and now on your platforms definitely comes through. I know the success you've had right now is nothing compared to what's to come. So I just wanted to congratulate you and say, keep up the great work because you're definitely making a difference.
Well, you know what? Again, I have a North Star, and you're it. You're it. Tell my brains, where's a copy of your book?
Yes, CyrusWebb.com is the best place for them to go. You know, of course, I wouldn't have one right here with. I should have done. See, I'm horrible at promoting myself, April.
No, you always have that book.
But yeah, it's CyrusWebb.com is where they can go for everything and power your life with the positive. Of course, my publisher just signed an exclusive deal with Barnes and Noble. My book is now in every Barnes and Noble around the country in hardcover, so you guys can get through January. Can get a hardcover edition of Power Your Life with the Positive for only $7.99.
What?
Where you are, $7.99 in hardcover. A great deal. I want to thank my publisher, Mango Publishing, for helping to partner that deal. Thanks, Barnes and Noble, for taking a chance on a little country boy like me. So I hope you guys enjoy the book.
You will, and maybe Santa will send me one, a signed copy. You never know.
I think I might can help with that.
Yeah, I hope so. Again, thank you for everything that you do, for everyone
thank you, April.
touch, all your interviews, and really just kind of being a sounding board. You're not judgmental. You don't, publicly criticize people. You really try to encourage and motivate them. And so, I take that to heart when I interview my guests. I really kind of take their personal feelings into consideration when you're promoting them. So thank you so much for being here on The Edge. This is home for you. Come on.
I appreciate it. Looking forward to coming back in 2020.
Yeah, well, as soon as you come to California, I'm driving from San Diego to LA to see if I can coerce you into doing something else you don't want to do.
You got a deal. You got a deal.
All right, I love you.
Love you too. Take care.
All right, bye-bye. Bye, Brains.